Oh, we are live. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. This is Amanda McKeen. You are listening to WZNC LP Bethlehem, North Country Community Radio, 99.9 FM, and streaming online at nococommunityradio.org. You are tuned in to North of Normal. I'm your host, and my mission is to create an unfiltered, human-centered space where local leaders, business owners, and change makers share their stories, perspectives, and passions, not to promote, but to connect. North of Normal celebrates what makes our North Country community rich, real, and worth rooting into. We're live every Tuesday from 10 to noon here at NCCR on Main Street in Littleton. And today's guest is Roy Brewster.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Roy, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. It's always a privilege to have somebody say yes to my invite. This show is by invite only. You know, it's always based on who I'm meeting and just getting a feel for who's willing to show up as themselves, you know, unfiltered and real. That's what I'm looking for. And Roy, we have such a fun little story about how we met. I like to explain to our listeners that before we kick things off with your personal story. So, do you remember where we met?
Well, it was at a funeral.
It was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you cut me off in line.
I did cut you off.
But with permission.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought, and you don't know this, but I thought when you asked permission to cut in line that, oh, she's pretty. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, you are.
So looks can get you places.
They definitely
yes.
can. That's why you comb your hair.
That's why you comb.
Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth. Oh, we're going to get into that more.
And floss them.
And flossing.
Yes.
Eat
the right food.
Yeah, all those things.
Yeah.
Before we get into lessons of dentistry, I'm glad that you remembered that. Let me tell you my perspective. Because I had already had Bernd Weber on as a guest on my show at this point. That funeral that we met at was in December, I think.
Boy.
And November or December. And
whose funeral was that?
It was Gene and Hank Peterson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I heard about you from Bernd, but let's back up. Bernd actually pronounces his name Bound.
Band.
Yes.
Yeah.
German.
Band. Yeah.
So, you already know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good. So he was telling me that, you know, this dentist in Whitefield, it told him to come check things out. You know, it sounded so random how you guys met. And then you had him over for dinner and somehow convinced him to join your practice as a dentist. And I loved that story. I don't know why. It just seemed like there was something really special about it because it was so random. And just the whole connectedness that happened because of that. And so I knew I had looked you up because I'm like, who's this Roy Brewster? And I looked you up on Facebook and I saw a picture of you. And then I didn't do anything with it. I just kind of identified you and then kept on about my life.
Really? You didn't think, oh, he's good looking.
Oh, he's handsome. He has nice teeth.
Yeah, nice teeth.
Well, I saw you at the funeral, and when I asked to cut you in line, I didn't, even after we talked, I didn't really make the connection that you were Roy Burns' buddy. And I looked at you and I said, why do I know you? And you're like, I don't know. And then you told me you were in a band, which is the legendary Wicked Smart Horn Band.
Perfect.
Right?
Yes, you have it
That's what it is.
Right down.
Okay. So you told me briefly about that. You know, our interaction was pretty quick, but you were there with your wife. You guys were super nice. You let me cut in line.
Yeah.
And I think...
Because you were good looking.
I think that after that, I messaged you on Facebook and I said, hey, can we get a coffee? And you happily obliged. And we had a nice coffee together at Inkwell. Mm-hmm. And I realized at that point that you were a guy with a lot of stories and a broader understanding of the culture here in the North Country.
A true deep thinker.
And a true deep thinker.
Deep.
So that's why I invited you on. Still
waters run deep.
They do.
Yeah.
So let's hear some of those deep thoughts.
Oh.
We'll get there. We have a lot of new listeners today because there were so many people that you helped over the last however many decades. How many decades were you a dentist practicing?
I did some calculating.
Okay.
And so it's been 50 years, 2 months, and 10 days that I was a dentist. And now I'm retired.
Wow. 50 years.
50 years.
How many mouths?
I don't know.
How many teeth?
I don't know.
That's a lot of people that you've served.
Yes.
And helped.
And the North Country has been very kind to us.
Yeah. So I know a little bit of your story. I kind of know your background. I asked you about it at Inkwell, but I don't think everybody does. Would you be willing to share how you ended up here before you started your practice?
Well, yeah, I grew up in Seattle. I am a Pacific Northwest boy. Went to the University of Washington. I bleed purple and gold because of that.
Wow.
I root for the Huskies.
Okay.
I follow the Seattle Times, which I was a paper boy for.
Okay.
And let's see. 7 years going to the University of Washington Stadium. I traveled a boat going across the lake and sailgated there at the docks where the rowing house was and is still.
Okay.
And they let us in at halftime, let the rabble in at halftime, and so we'd get in free at halftime and sit at one end of the stadium and watch the game.
Nice.
The second half. Yeah, it was cool. And then we'd ride back, me and my buddy. We'd ride back, and I'd drop him off at his house and go and get the trailer and cart the boat home.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I wanted to see what was over the mountains, and we never could afford. I never thought that we were poor, but we never could afford vacations, so I really didn't see much of the world beyond the Pacific Northwest and Seattle, and so. From there, I wanted to see what was over the mountains. So I took off.
You took off?
Yeah, I took off and went east. And contrary to what other people did by going west, young man, I went east. And I passed a couple boards. I looked at boards. I looked at New Orleans because they were famous for their music, and I was a saxophone player. Still am.
Yep.
And I looked at the Northeast regional boards because they one was just for Louisiana, and the other was for 10 states in the Northeast, all small states. Mm-hmm. And so from D.C. up to Maine, it covered all of that. So I headed east and passed the boards in Manhattan, and then worked my way north from D.C. all the way up to here, and this is the first place where I found really work, and it's funny because I wound up at the time in Lancaster, and the Pacific Northwest was raining. I was fleeing the rain.
Yeah.
And I wound up in Coos County, where the cloud cover is. There's just two places in the whole country at that point which was not sustainable with solar, and that was King County and Seattle. King County, Seattle, and Coos County, New Hampshire. And so I guess I was attracted to the rain
for some reason.
And all of that. Yeah. But anyway, that was my story, and then I started my North Country story because I found work up there in Lancaster with Ed Peral, and we had a acrimonious kind of separation, and I went to Whitefield and was there, but the culmination of all that was 50 years.
Yeah.
And then I just went ahead.
And you just kept doing it.
Yeah, kept doing it.
Let's back up a little, because you just summarized a whole bunch of life that I want some details on.
Okay.
My first question is, why did you get into dentistry?
I saw my mom's dental bill.
Okay.
And that was cool. I thought, wow, I could make a living at that.
How old were you?
10.
When you saw the bill?
Yeah.
Wow.
10. And I remember Mom raised her eyebrows and says, woo. And but as I went through things, I found that my talents matched up really well with dentistry.
What talents match up with dentistry?
Well, you've got to dig people. I'm an extrovert.
Okay.
You've got to be strong in your sciences.
Yeah.
And love your sciences. And I was. I wasn't one for theme papers and projects like that and art projects and whatnot. So you dig your people, are strong in your sciences, and then finally you really have to... I lost my train of thought.
It's all right. We can get it back.
Yeah, anyway.
So you had the talents and the skills that kind of lent itself to dentistry, is what you were saying.
Yeah, really, it lent myself to dentistry.
Yeah.
And I was interested in other things, but dentistry was really where it was at. Oh, yeah, you got to be good with your hands.
Yeah.
You've got to be good with your hands.
Have
some manual dexterity. And I always enjoyed working on little teeny things.
Like playing the saxophone.
Yeah, we're playing the saxophone, the clarinet, also doing little artsy projects and things like that. Balancing mobiles, stuff, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
When did you start getting into music?
4th grade.
Okay.
I started on clarinet.
And who influenced that?
Wow. Benny Goodman. My parents, my brothers all are musicians.
Okay.
And
are your brothers older?
One's older, one's younger.
Okay.
Middle child I am.
Nice. Yeah. I'm a middle child too.
It's a good place.
I think so.
I like it's in a good place.
Yeah.
So I found middle child is a great spot to be in. When my older brother failed, I was the old brother, and I took care of things. And when he didn't, I was fine with second place.
Yeah.
And pretty much, I like second place. And my younger brother, well, I could always beat him up. So that was. And my older brother, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
If you saw the cartoon of somebody holding the hand on the head at arm's length.
Yeah, keeping him away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other, the opponent swinging away
and missing.
Yeah, and missing. Yeah. that was my older brother and me.
Nice. So both brothers were musical as well.
Yeah, both were musical.
And you started with clarinet in 4th grade.
Yeah.
When did that transition to saxophone?
Not until my music lessons started, where my mom said you had to practice a lot if you're going to take music lessons, because we didn't have a lot of money, and taking music lessons was expensive and for us, and so that was part of the interest in need be. Mm-hmm. So my private teacher said, why don't you pick up saxophone now that you've got the clarinet under your belt? And I tried it and enjoyed it. And eventually I got a tenor saxophone, which that's the main instrument I play in the Wicked Smart Horn Band.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but I cut my teeth on rock and roll in Seattle.
Nice.
Just after Ray Charles and Jimi Hendrix left the city to go on to their fame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there was a very good blues environment there. And so I cut my teeth on blues and ad-libbing and doing stuff like that, jamming with blues.
At a very young age.
Yeah, I was probably 16 when I got the tenor saxophone. Nice. And joined a band and all that. They recruited me, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a blast in Seattle.
What do you think was your favorite part of performing, and maybe still is?
Just getting up there and wanting to be on the stage performing rather than being in the audience, appreciating it. I just wanted to be up there. And everybody in the band had the same comments. We'd comment to each other, "Oh, I want to be up there. I want to be doing that too." And so, we did it.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
Okay, so now I got some details filled in here. We got a little bit about why dentistry. We got a little bit about why the saxophone. One thing that's still missing for me is why you ended up in northern New Hampshire. What was the lead that brought you up here?
Well, other than really doing, I think what led me was finding a job.
Okay.
I saved up some money, and so I could get my car after I graduated from dental school.
Yeah.
I saved up my money and got a car and had some cash left over, and so I came east. Yeah. And started in D.C. and worked my way north.
Were you living in your car?
No, I was living, I lived in hotel rooms.
Okay.
And I lived with relatives when I could.
Nice.
Like I had an uncle in D.C., so that's where I started. I went out and saw him with the excuse of seeing him, but really I needed the room.
Right, yeah.
And and then I worked my way north because I didn't find dentists that, hey, you can talk to my dentist, you can talk to my dentist, this and that.
Yeah.
Then I started looking in the newspapers, and I found that most people wanted somebody with experience, and I didn't have any experience. So I'd see a headline like, Boston is in desperate need of a dentist.
Yeah.
Desperate need of dentists. And so I go to the state dental director and say, hey, here I am. All I want is a room and a place to eat and a little food. And I just want experience. And he says, no, we want somebody with experience. And so they kind of shot themselves in the foot because I could have been on Nantucket and taking care of the locals rather than up in the North Country. But eventually I found somebody who was desperate enough to hire me without experience, and that was Ed Peralt in Lancaster.
Okay.
And met the state dental director at the time was Charlie Z. and Charlie Zumbrunnan and Dr. Zumbrunnan. And he was a wonderful man, and he directed me around the state to interview at different places and see people. But I remember at different times they got desperate. I was crying on my bed and thinking of, oh Lord, help me find a place and all of that, and praying and wondering and hoping, and it was desperate times. And I needed another $100 from my parents to help out a little bit, and they scratched it together and sent me the money, and then I wound up in Lancaster with Dr. Peralt hiring me.
You must have just been so thrilled when you got that job.
I guess I was happy, but it wasn't just, it was kind of just a matter of fact of taking the next step.
Okay.
It was like having a ladder and going up the next rung. And okay, I have this job. Now I'll get some experience.
Okay.
Let's try it out on the locals.
Trying it out.
With the grand plan, I was going to go back to Seattle.
Oh.
And probably go to Spokane, where I aligned. I just love the people in the farm country, because I had worked on farms and things and loved it there. And my roommate was from Spokane, and he was Big Lou was his name, and Lou is a lawyer in Spokane. Was a lawyer in Spokane for many years, and that was the grand plan, is to come out here for a couple of years, work on some locals, and then go back with the experience under my belt and open up a practice in Spokane.
Well,
didn't happen.
What happened? When did that change?
I met Donna Greenwood.
Oh.
Love really messes up life's plans.
Yeah. So how did you meet Donna?
Well, it was 20 or 30 below zero, and I was going to the office, and she was walking to teach. She was a teacher at the time, and also new teacher. I mean, with very little experience, a couple of years.
Did she move here too from elsewhere?
Yeah. Okay. She came from Philadelphia.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and we met at 20 below zero. Just kind of a nod, good morning, hi.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do with your local? You kind of hi, you nod and nod your head a little bit,
going.
and just keep going. Yeah. So hey, and I went upstairs to the dental office at the time, and she went to school.
Yeah.
And I eventually asked her to a world famous beans party that I produced.
Beans?
Yeah, world famous beans. World famous.
Well, what kind of beans are we talking about?
Pinto beans.
Like, are they baked? Are they a certain...
They're boiled overnight.
Okay.
Raw pinto beans. And then you throw in whole tomatoes and whole onions and salt pork. And
oh, now we're talking.
Yeah. I mean, really, really good stuff. And a vitamin pill, so that you make sure that you're getting all the vitamins. One vitamin pill.
Are you serious? You put a vitamin pill in there?
Always a vitamin pill.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had a bean party.
Yeah.
And you invited Donna.
Yes, I invited Donna and her roommate, and I went up to her. Went up to her apartment. It was 3 stories up in the Chesley building, in the Chesley block, where Carlisle Place is now. They're practicing. And we hit it off. We hit it off there. And so I eventually invited them to this world famous beans party. And I also invited Dr. Peralt and his friends,
Okay.
which were a couple of his inner circle friends.
Okay.
So there was like another couple or two that always gave me a hard time about Donna and Patty.
Oh.
They gave me Donna's roommate, Patty, and Donna, and they gave me a hard time. They were teasing me a lot about Donna and Patty. And
Because they were both single and so were you?
yeah.
Okay.
And when we go to a party together, and this was over the couple of months that I knew them without Donna, they would start pairing me off with different, I don't know what you call them, bachelorettes
Yep.
in town. They'd start pairing me off with these different people, and some of them would bring giggles and laughter, and some of them would be,
Yeah.
well, they'd always wind up with Donna and Patty at the end.
Okay.
So I thought it'd be really a cool idea to get them all together. And I was living in a trailer at the time, in a trailer park, Page Hill Trailer Park, in Lancaster, which still is there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's still there. Yeah. And at any rate, I was talking with, let's see, I had Ed and Lee and Connie and everybody there, which was the Peralt and his crowd. And then I had pictured bringing Donna and Patty in on both arms.
Did you do it?
And watch their jaws
Yes.
drop and speechless. Well, Patty got sick. And so I was just stuck with Donna.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was terrible. And so, well, we'll go with Donna. And so I walked in the trailer with Donna on my arm.
Yeah.
And the jaws dropped.
Yeah.
And Ed Peralt, for one of the rare moments in his life, was speechless. And it was a very successful party. We moved quickly from the trailer to Ed's house because he wasn't particularly comfortable in the trailer.
In the trailer? Okay.
I don't know why. But anyway, that's and Donna and I we hit it off. We played darts and stuff all night and into the morning, and finally I dropped her off with a kiss. Oh yeah, I went for it. I went in first date.
Yeah.
And from there, 54 years later, we're still married, and
That's amazing.
And she's my sweetheart.
What a
She's the
great
love of my
story.
life. Yeah.
Thank goodness Patty wasn't there.
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened if Patty showed up?
I think it would have still happened between Donna and me.
Yeah.
Because it was meant to.
Okay.
If you will.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I got the better looking of the two roommates.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, so you and Donna have been together 54 years, you said?
54 years. We just had our 54th anniversary.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You have children?
2.
Very cool.
Ryan and Amanda.
Oh, you have a daughter named Amanda.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why it's easy to remember your name, Amanda.
It's a good name.
Yeah, it is a good name.
Yeah.
And we knew right away when she was born that her name was Amanda.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that helps me really piece things together with your background.
We had a choice between Cregan and Amanda.
Cregan?
Cregan.
What is that?
It's an Irish name. Being St. Patrick's Day, I thought I'd mention that.
I'm so glad you brought
Cregan
that up.
and Amanda, and Amanda was the choice. It was just fit.
Yeah.
It fit. I don't know how you know that, but when it was time, when the birth happened, boom.
You just knew.
Amanda. Yeah, you know.
Was she the first? She's the firstborn?
Yep, firstborn, and Ryan was the secondborn, and 3 years later, out pops Ryan.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was your favorite, or what is your favorite part of being a dad?
Wow, favorite
I know
bar.
that's a big question. I mean, at this point, they're grown, right? And
I'd say love and innocence.
yeah.
I think I was very busy being cool, sexy, all of these things when I was younger, and being in a rock and roll band and doing all these bar scenes and everything. Mr. Cool. I tried to be. I didn't pull it off very well, but I was Mr. Cool. I tried to be Mr. Cool. Yeah, and I think the innocence when the kids came and the wonder of watching their faces, just being able to grab the edge of their chair, being able to, on her first birthday, stuff cake in her mouth and making sure it was chocolate cake so it would be smeared all over her face.
Yeah.
The joy in that, and watching them grow at each stage of their lives, and becoming they were our entertainment. I mean, I don't understand. Well, in a way I do, but it's hard to understand why people are disinterested in their children. That the children are a pain. Yeah, sometimes they are a royal pain.
Yeah.
In places you cannot mention, but the love and innocence that you gain from them and growing up with them, and that as adults, with that love and attendance to their basketball games and dance recitals and everything, was by far. Everything paled next to that. It was just fun going to those things and being around them and getting to know them and how they emerged as the human beings that they are. And everything, and then enjoying them as adults and loving them and everything. I mean, we have the two are very different in a lot of ways, and very same because they were brought up the same and everything else. And it's just really interesting and fun to enjoy them as adults and have a Jack Daniels with one and a wine with the other, and whereas before you didn't want them to drink, and, they were growing up in your house, and it was against the law and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, the love and innocence, I keep coming back to that.
Yeah.
But that's what they taught me.
Yeah, how special is that?
Yeah.
Sounds like it was humbling for you.
It was.
Because you were trying to be cool, and then it didn't matter, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really humbling as much as it was just getting back to basics of what we all really live for.
Yeah.
That connection.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. You mentioned being Irish, and this was not intentional that you were here on St. Paddy's Day.
Uh-oh.
No, I just think it's interesting that you're here, and both you and I are Irish.
Well, I am part Irish. My brother had a 23andMe or one of those DNA tests, and I'm a third British Isles. In fact, I'm a William Brewster Mayflower kid.
Whoa.
Generations, anyway, one of those things.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to, let's say, Germanic, British Isles, and French. Those are the three things. Third, and third. And the rest of me, which is the 1%,
is Irish.
I was really disappointed. No, is not Irish, because it's a third Germanic, third British Isles, third French.
Okay.
And that 1% is I cling to, I hope there's a part of me that's black, that part of me that's Asian, that the indigenous somehow, that it goes way back to William Brewster. And so probably somewhere along the line that they met somebody. Maybe. And that 1%, I really, like my daughter said.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. That's the mysterious part that I don't really know. But that's the part you kind of obsess over. Well, I knew I was British Isles, or I knew I was French, and I knew I was because that's what we were, and that's what we are, and we're white, and we're this, and we're that. But I long to be indigenous or black or something. My daughter also wished she was a dancer. And really wanted to be a professional dancer. Yeah. And she did not get to do that, but she wished she was black so that she would be able to get dancing, because they were hiring, they had to hire a certain number of black, Asians, indigenous, whatever, and that was part of it. And she was black. She had this stigma, if you will, of, well, it might be a little more athletic and be able to spring a little better, jump a little higher. It's all moot, but
yeah. Well, let's talk about athleticism for a second, because
sure,
we can't not have this conversation about the fact that you snowboard.
Yeah, I love the snowboard.
Oh man, I saw a video. Burns shared a video from like a couple years ago of you.
Yeah.
Actually, it was like when you were 70. And if you want to share your age on air, you can, but I'm not going to force you to.
Oh, I hit my 80th.
You're 80.
Yeah, I retired when I was 75, and I'm now 80.
Wow. And you're snowboarding.
Yeah.
How regularly do you snowboard?
Oh, I've been up this year 19 times. So about twice a week.
And you go to Bretton Woods, right?
Yeah. I'll go to Bretton Woods. I've been to all the resorts around. Yeah. But Bretton Woods is really a favorite place. Cannon. Our kids learned on Cannon. Okay. We ski schooled to Cannon. That Cannon is a great spot. I go down to Loon sometimes. Yeah. Bernd and I had a snowboarding moment at Loon. We just were springboarding. We had learned how to snowboard, and because both of us, we bonded over snowboarding. Yes. One of the bonds that he
mentioned that
was snowboarding. Yeah. And we sat at the bottom of the Loon after coming down through all kinds of crud and stuff and springboarding. And just sat back and laughed because it was just so much fun. We just laid back with our backs on the snow, and just two snowboarders sitting there laughing, grown men laughing, two grown men professionals laughing away.
Dentists.
Because it was so much fun.
That sounds really pure in a way.
It was. Yeah. It was. It was just absolutely a great time. And I've been called things that aren't repeatable on the radio, on the snowboard, that I've never been called in any other situation ever.
Why?
I think there's a prejudice about snowboards in some ways. Oh. And I know at one point I was at Bretton Woods, and this little kid came out in front of me as I was cruising down just a blue square, and this kid came out in front of me, and they were in a lesson, and I caught them on my snowboard and gently put them over on the side, and this instructor came over, and I was totally covered. My wrinkles weren't showing. My white hair wasn't showing. I was just totally helmeted and covered up with things. The turkey neck didn't show. Everything. Nothing was showing. I was just dressed. And I have a small stature.
Yes,
I'm
you
not very
do.
big. I'm 135 pounds and 5'6", so I'm not very threatening. And so this this instructor just laid into me. And he didn't know who I was, what I was, anything about me, except I looked probably like a smallish teenager that was riding along and putting his client in jeopardy. Well, he laid into me and chewed me out and chewed me out. You didn't do blah, 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 blah. And I went right down to guest services and told them, if you want to be a world-class place, they cannot do that. Because I was unidentifiable. And this guy reamed me out. No big, and if I was the son of a sheik or somebody else's kid, and this is what you're aspiring to be at the Mount Washington, you cannot do this. You know, you can threaten to lift a ticket and do something like that. He never did that. He just reamed me out.
How did they, do you think they heard you?
I don't know. I heard me. And so that was important. I needed to vent, and that's where I went. And they have guest services there to receive that.
That's true.
And so I did. And I suppose that one of the advantages of being around for this long is that people know who you are.
Yeah.
And the people at guest services knew me.
They did.
A couple were my patients.
Okay.
So, you know, Dr. Brewster was down here. You know, sometimes it's good to carry that label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't know that for many years, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it can happen fast.
Yeah.
So, or slow.
So let's talk about life as a dentist and serving people here for as long as you have. We were talking off air a little bit just about the various patients that you've had. Yeah.
Like when I retired.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting. And
when you retired?
Yeah, when I retired. And Angie Simoneau, who is the office manager and a dear friend, and actually everybody on the staff, if they remain, is a dear friend.
Nice.
And a very good friend. People I love. One of the things I miss is the staff at the office. But Angie had arranged, it was during COVID, it was 2021, March 2021, and it was right in the middle of COVID. Mm-hmm. And so Angie decided to have a card party rather than a formal party for me, and because parties were taboo at that point in time. You could not have public gatherings.
Yes.
You could not have public gatherings and everything. So she decided that she would have a card. I know congratulations on your retirement. Send cards to the office.
Okay.
And then they would present me with this, and unbeknownst to me, by the way, it was a surprise kind of a thing.
Okay.
Of cards, as I remember, and the interesting part in this is that not only did I get like hundreds, or a little over 100, cards and things, which was really nice. I thought that the problem patients that didn't follow directions or didn't want the root canal because it was too much money, pull it mentality, patients like that, many of them, I would say a few of them, not all of them.
Okay.
But I have to, if there's somebody listening who's saying, I sent him $50, it must have been me. But a lot of those problem patients sent me money. And I I was nonplussed by how much they appreciated me over the years. They had been long-standing patients who would, you kind of roll your eyes and go, oh no, they're coming in. Uh-oh. Or you'd see them on your schedule and say, okay, I'm in for a battle again. Or it's just they don't follow your directions. They come late, they leave early, they don't eat the right stuff, they don't brush their teeth or floss their teeth, they don't.
Yeah.
And they'll argue with you with treatment plans and don't pay their bills.
Yeah.
Don't show up on time.
Yeah.
All that stuff that you really rely on as a dentist. And a good number of them sent me like $50 checks. And that was really kind of an insight.
Yeah.
That they really loved me and returned to me because somehow I tolerated them because of their problematic, contrarian ways of functioning. And I think we all see that in businesses. They spread their love. They spread it around. But that was a very interesting and curious learning moment on my part about how they were so loyal, and I was their man.
Yeah.
And they really appreciated me much more. And some of them would argue that they didn't want the root canal, pull it, because it was too much money. That was what held them back from doing the root canal. And yet they'd send me $50. And that was a very interesting learning moment for me.
Yeah.
After I walk out of the office, I learned this about these problem patients.
I mean, if it were me, I would have just been scratching my head like, why?
Yeah. You wonder all of these things. Why?
Yeah.
Why are they...
Like, wait, you liked me?
Yeah. They did. They probably liked me, recommended it to their friends.
Right.
Contrary or not, I don't know. Sometimes you don't want that person recommending you to friends.
Right.
You'd rather have them say, he's a butcher.
Do you think it was kind of like, I'm trying to understand this phenomenon you're describing, and do you think that because you were there so long as a dentist that your role was kind of parental in some ways to your patients? That they kind of saw you as like this authority that they didn't like, but they, respected at the same time? No. Because I started out very young. Yeah.
And I finished up very old.
Right.
50 years is a long time.
So maybe the tail end, it changed? Like, as you aged, did it change?
I would have had my hair done in platinum frosting kind of highlights. Early on, if I'd have known what graying did for your professional image.
Oh, that's a profound statement right there.
Yeah. It was very interesting to see how people started saying yes, doctor, instead of yes, but.
Oh, interesting.
When I first started out, a lot of these people were long-standing patients that were late 70s, early 80s. And so, they're probably older. Well, yeah, they're older than you are, Amanda.
Yeah.
They're old people now, and they're like me. They're old people. So, it was just interesting to see why they became, but I was always, in a lot of ways, professionally the same. Mm. And as I grew into novel ways of taking care of patients, of saving teeth, of figuring out how to save teeth and still economically make it work for the patient and for myself. and I was able to give people options, many of which learned, and I taught.
Yeah.
And I taught, we had University of New England School of Dentistry as externs in our practice, and I taught them as well.
Nice.
These other things, because they're unteachable kind of things that you learn how to be Dr. Patch.
Yeah.
And patch up a tooth and get them on their way and do a good job of it so that it holds well for at least a reasonably long period of time, a couple of years, until they get their feet on the ground or their economics set so that they can rise up and afford a crown or whatever for the tooth. I can patch them up in the meantime and get them on the road, and it's the difference between patching a tire and replacing a tire. And a lot of dentists are replacing tires which they could patch to get them along the way, but in the long haul, they're going to have to replace the tire.
Yeah.
See, so and that's always the tension in trying to figure out those options and giving people a chance to choose, rather according to their economical situation and their value system, what they can afford and what they value to do.
I think that's so important what you just said. Anybody listening that is in business, really go back and listen to this recording and listen to that one spot, because it's about letting people own their own choices, right?
Yeah.
And you're just educating them and you're letting them know what the possibilities are, but ultimately they make the choice for themselves.
Yeah. And doing my best to communicate to them in simple language.
Yeah.
Making them be able to understand the complexities of dentistry in simple language.
Yeah.
And that is giving them options.
That they understand.
Yeah, that they can understand and relate to. And I have I had all kinds of patients from Blue Bloods on Mountain View Road and coming in from the hotels at the time were definitely people that would rent a room for a summer. I mean, at a Grand Hotel like Mount Washington or something, or Mountain View Grand, and they would come in, as well as the farmer across the road who could hardly make ends meet.
Yeah.
Spreading manure and things and smelling up the place. But those are my clientele. And I actually loved my regular people because they were real.
Yeah.
And the other people were very schooled in how to put on pretense and some of them are real, but the ones you remember are not. Why is it that we always remember the ones that are
the negative?
Real? Yeah, the negative ones that
I don't know.
I guess we learned to avoid that.
It's like the survival skill of our brain.
Yeah. It's a matter of survival.
Yeah, except you're seeing them as a threat, and they're not really.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I really appreciate you sharing that. You gravitate towards what's real. What do you think influenced that in your life?
Well, I was always real.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not into fakery, but at the same time, they call it faking when you're putting together a ad-lib solo on the saxophone.
They call it faking?
Yeah, faking or a solo.
Okay.
Yeah, you're faking a solo. And so you're making up lines as you go along.
Yeah.
And whether it's faking it with a chorus in a formal concert, or whether you're just in a bar in a corner making background music, or the Wicked Smart Horn Band, you're faking your solo. Because it's not going to be the same every time.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same. So
you're talking about improvising.
Yeah, improv. They call it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The school intelligent people call it improv. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Well.
Yes.
So I'm curious, like, if your parents modeled to you that the value of being real, like, who in your life did you kind of witness that in at an early age? Was it the musicians you were around?
Good and bad examples.
Yeah.
Mom was a good example. Dad wasn't a good example, except he had a number of problems.
Yeah.
And so he was not employable.
Oh.
And so Mom really had to be the income, the steady income for the family. And Dad was real in his situations, but also had to fake it when he went out being miserable and being a salesman or whatever he was doing. And that was hard for him. And it didn't work out for him. And so Mom was basically a teacher and worked that way. I think by the grace of God, I just kind of pieced things together as I went on and being gravitating towards real people and evaluating that as I just went along. Yeah. And tucking one thing in my pocket, like that learning moment with those patients that sent money. Yeah. You learn from those, and you learn from your mistakes, even though it's 50 years of mistakes, of not liking judging these people, going back and going, and yet here they are sending you the love, and
completely like demolishing whatever preconceived notions you had.
Yeah.
That's such a magical thing when that happens.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So thank you for the gift. I mean, it's much bigger than what they thought it was.
Right.
Much bigger gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Absolutely.
Life is interesting.
It's wonderful and painful and all the things together.
Yep. Every bit.
Every bit.
Yeah.
Roy, we are closing in. We've got a couple minutes left. What do you want to make sure you talk about that we haven't covered?
Well, first of all, I think you should smile more, Amanda.
Okay.
You got a gorgeous smile.
Well, thank you.
You got teeth, show it off.
All right. I'll remember that.
No, I think one of the things, lifelong regrets that I have had is that I was too pissed off. I said, that's okay. I can say pissed
you
off.
Can say that.
Okay, I was too pissed off worrying about whether I'm going to pay my bills, whether I was going to get the prom date, whether, I lived an idyllic childhood, but I was too pissed off to realize it at the time. I mean, we'd go on my little boat over to these sailgate games and come back, and we'd go up the Sammamish Slough and have wonderful Huckleberry Finn kind of moments and things. I did wonderful things as a kid. Dad took us to races. Dad showed up. And other kids in the neighborhood were really jealous of Dad because Dad, even though he was unemployable, he did a lot of fun things with us kids. And he showed up every night, even though he had all these mental difficulties and he showed up every night. And so, but I was too pissed off at him or at my situation or not enough money or couldn't get the car I wanted or blah, 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 blah. And you pick your things to realize that I had that idyllic childhood. But now, 50, 80 years later, I look back and I go, wow, that was really amazing childhood. that I was given by my parents. You know, it's just amazing. So, yeah, that's one thing is don't get so pissed off at your situation right now. Enjoy life and realize that you're living in a wonderful, wonderful life.
Oh, I got all the warm fuzzies just now.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
What a gift for me and our listeners to hear you say that. You know, you've lived 80 years and seen a lot of things and dealt with a lot of people and been with yourself the whole time, you know?
Yeah. Pretty much that's been it.
I'm just speechless, Roy.
Well, good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty profound what you said. I don't have anything to add to it.
Good. Well, it's one of those things that I've realized over time. Yeah.
It's making me think about all of the things.
Oh, yeah. We all are
Immediately.
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you automatically think of how many situations, how pissed off you were before you came to work even.
Right.
You know, and you're living an idyllic situation right now, a wonderful situation right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all woke up today.
Yeah.
You know, even if we just look at today.
Yeah, and, you know, it's trite, each day is a gift. But at the same time, you know, you don't need to be pissed off. You've got choices all day long to rejoice, to be happy, to force yourself to be happy, to make those decisions.
To smile anyways.
Yeah. Smile.
Well, Roy,
show those pearly whites off.
Yeah. We're at the top of the hour and I have to do the legal ID.
Sure.
We have to remind our listeners that they're listening to WZNC LP Bethlehem, North Country Community Radio, 99.9 FM, and streaming online at nococommunityradio.org. Roy Brewster, this has been an epic conversation on St. Paddy's Day of all days. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being willing to be real with me. That is just such an honor. I know a lot of people are listening and appreciating seeing you in a new light today. And also for sharing the wisdom that you've gained in your 80 years of life. So glad you're here. So glad that you've chosen the North Country. You know, you've had a big impact here.
I've enjoyed every moment.
Yeah.
And in the process being pissed off as well.
Oh, man. All right. Well, thank you again for being here, Roy. I hope you'll consider coming back. I do have return guests sometimes, if they're willing.
Yeah, I'd be willing.
Maybe.
I suppose, maybe. So, yeah.
We'll see how you play your cards.
Yeah, I will see how you're smiling.
Okay. Deal. For all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. By listening in, you're helping keep real stories and community conversations alive. That is no small thing, and I'm so glad you're a part of it. If you have thoughts about today's episode, or you have someone that you think would make a great guest, I would love to hear from you. You can send me an email to amanda@clearviewadvantage.com. If you want to catch up on past episodes, or you want to share one with a friend like this one, you can find it at clearviewadvantage.com/podcast. This has been North of Normal with Amanda McKeen featuring Roy Brewster. We will see you next Tuesday live from 10 to noon. Until then, stay grounded, stay curious, and stay a little north of normal.